So it's currently almost 11 at night, and I'd say just about an hour ago or 2 hours ago, I was just trying to get to sleep, and I went into sleep paralysis again. And this time, instead of some sort of sinister looking entity at the foot of my bed, what I encountered was a doppelganger of me. It looked exactly like me, except for with a haircut. And it seemed like this particular, like, I didn't feel like it was just a doppelganger. I felt like it was actually me, and I felt like I knew what I was doing. And I remember feeling so scared. I remember um trying to say out loud, "No, this isn't real. This isn't happening. This isn't real. You're not real." And the thing just kept on staring at me, smiling at me. So now I'm really confused. Now I don't understand what I'm dealing with here. I do still believe that it's some sort of ghost, but not in the sense that it's a deceased person, but that it is a very real entity on the astral plane. What if, I'm just going to propose something. What if future me was in some sort of state of astral projection and was able to visit the past and come to me earlier tonight for some reason? What if this future shadow star was telling me that in the future I am able to visit myself in the past through astral travel? This case just got a whole lot weirder. This case just got a whole lot more complicated. I had never contemplated something like that, and I think about this kind of stuff all the time. I talk about this kind of stuff all the time. It's kind of my thing. Um, but then that raises another question. What if the entities I've been dealing with all along have actually been me on the astral plane? Perhaps I was trying to teach myself a lesson because when I released um, that episode of the Ghost Files earlier, well, early first thing this morning, um, I proposed that perhaps the way to combat this phenomenon is by not being afraid of it and by instead emitting love and compassion. It was pointed out to me by one of my viewers that I used the word omit. That's not what I meant. I meant emit. So I just had to get this documented because, wow, like, I've seen paranormal investigations online, And I've only seen fictional ones get this complicated, but this is actually real. This is actually happening to me. And the implications are amazing. When we think about time travel, we think about the physical body going back into a different point in time. We don't really think about it as the astral body going back into a point in time that really is outside of time, but that the individual perceives as being within their timeline. I must apologize for all these pauses because as I'm recording this, I'm contemplating it. I didn't really think about what I was going to say or how I was going to present it. In fact, the idea that this whole, what I called haunting, has been me from the future traveling the astral plane all along hadn't occurred to me until I started recording this. Anyways, I'm not really interested in boring my audiences with long pauses. Eckhart Tolle does it all the time during his sermons, so I mean, if one of the living spiritual masters can do it, then so can I, I guess. Oh, wow. When you open your mind and open your heart to the truth, whatever the truth may be, without trying to create mental fabrications and conceptualizations about it, answers tend to just come to you. I'm sure there's a reason for all of this. I'm sure there's a deeper reason for all of this because this all happened after I called my guardian angel into my life. And then another possibility. What if these hauntings are actually a spirit guide or a guardian angel giving me an unpleasant encounter to teach me something for the greater good? What if it's actually an angelic being putting obstacles in my path for me to overcome, to come to certain realizations that will ultimately empower me to fulfill my destiny in this lifetime? And my final, darn, my final hypothesis here is what if it's all one and the same? What if I am my guardian angel? What if we are our own guardian angel? Um, to illustrate, I'm going to use an example of the tarot card called the Lovers. The Lovers shows an image of a man looking at a woman who's looking up at an angel. The man in the picture represents the conscious mind, the linear logical aspect of consciousness. The woman in the picture represents the more emotional, intuitive, feminine aspect of consciousness. And the angel represents the higher self. So the meaning of the Lovers in the major arcana represents the fact that in order to access the superconscious, the conscious mind must pass through the subconscious, or what in my spiritual tradition we call the psychic mind. As I'm about to teach you in future series, all forms of clairvoyance, divination, all forms of psychic ability are really just retrieving information from the collective unconscious, and the collective unconscious is a part of you. I really hope I get a good sleep tonight. Um, but all this being said, my course of action right now is to let this all go, to stop trying to figure it out, and to just let it be for the time being. To just let it be what it is and let go of the need to have an answer, because it seems like the more, as a species, the more we try to figure things out with our mind, with our thoughts, the more complicated they become. And I find that, yeah, I do my studies, I do my research, but when I disidentify from concepts and thoughts and philosophies and ideologies, the truth becomes very clear. One of the first deep spiritual insights I've ever experienced is that the absolute truth can be found in absolute silence, in an absolute stillness. What I mean by that is when we allow our mind to clear from thought, and when we become the awareness, the consciousness itself, then we see a level of truth that can't be put into words. And that goes back to the scripture from the Tao Te Ching, which says, the Tao which can be named is not the eternal Tao. Mosquito. Wow, this has got to be the most unprofessional video I have ever made and actually put on my channel. But this series, I want it to be like that. This is basically a video journal of a paranormal investigation, and I'm discovering these truths as the audience discovers the truths. So I'm learning at the same time as my audience learns. And it goes back to that deep, profound truth that we are all connected, and that within the collective unconscious, all of our minds, all of our thoughts, all of our emotions are one. It's not like the spiritual plane is in a different location, it's just on a different level of consciousness. We are the universe, we are life becoming aware of itself. And yeah, I'm honored to be able to share this experience with you. Anyway, I've ranted on long enough, and I'm gonna call it quits for this episode. Good night, everybody.